All right, awesome. Everybody feel good about themselves after watching that?
That was definitely the dude on the left.
Book a romantic experience at this one, where you'll build a home for two lovebirds.
Airbnb.
All right, awesome. Yep. All right. So my mindset coach, Drake, shared that video with me, and thank you to Tucker who introduced me to the mindset coach. It's been life-changing, and we all know that small daily choices lead to habits that then lead to the life that we desire instead of drifting. Today I'm going to share with you my own journey, what has worked for me, and what I am currently doing, that it may help or inspire you. All right. Since this is the SubTo real estate meetup, I'm also going to share with you real life examples on how you can get started in real estate investing and or how you can grow your current portfolio. I would like to recommend before you start investing in real estate, though, to invest in yourself on a daily basis. I believe this is often overlooked. To set a solid foundation, if not, I found myself in anxiety, chronic stress, and burnout. Last year, I hit one of the lowest points in my life, and I completely drifted from who I am, hurting myself and the closest people to me. So first, I'd like to share my daily schedule, my daily routine. So I'm a believer and a person of faith, and one thing that I like to follow is Jesus's example. And so he got out of his house early in the morning and went and prayed, meditated, and took care of himself. So I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, not 2:30 like Tucker over here. So yeah, so and then that's when I really set my foundation and take care of myself. So I use Apple reminders, and you can go on there and you can literally set up like a checklist, and it will recur every day. And then once you do that item, you get to check that off each day. And I believe there's like a dopamine reaction to checking those off each day. And so like on mine, I have just as simple as this: wake up at 4:30, and then I check in with my personal trainer. I get electrolytes, take my vitamins. Next, right after that, I do get dressed, but yeah, right after that, then first thing is I go right into the sauna, and then that's when I do my devotions, and then I go to the gym, get ready for work, plan the day in the office, and so I just think in life we can become drifters. Maybe waking up at the last minute that you get that extra a little bit of sleep, and then you wake up late, so then you feel rushed, and then maybe your kids are screaming or yelling, and then you're like late for work, and maybe you didn't eat breakfast, and then you feel crappy during work, and then you come home, you're tired from work because maybe you didn't prepare your food that day, and then you come home and doom scroll on social media for 2 hours, and then you just go to bed and you do it all over again. So that's what I wanted to change in my life. I wanted to be intentional about my day and take care of myself first, because yeah, if you don't take care of yourself first, you'll just drift through life. And yeah, I think, like burnout and being stressed to the max, like sometimes people that's overlooked in careers in real estate investing. And so yeah, that's how I start my day. I actually take care of myself first. And then, all right, and then I do set quarterly goals. Lou, my sales specialist, is with us tonight, and we actually, as a team, we all set our quarterly goals, and so I think that's really important to have an intention and have vision, know where you're wanting to go, and again, just drifting through life. And then of all the goals that I have, I condense those down to 3 goals, and then those 3 goals, goes into each bucket. So like for mine, it's health, family, and business. So that's what I've condensed, like my 3 top goals. And then I would recommend, if you can think about it, eliminate one unhealthy thing in your life. So for me, like drifting last year, it all started, I saw something on social media which led to another thing that like is not good for you, and then led to another thing. And so I just think like I think we all, like, if you can't think about it tonight, I think there's something you can think of that it's like, hey, like this is unhealthy in my life, I should just eliminate this. So, and then slow down and actually write it down. Don't just have it in your head. Like, write it down and review those on a daily basis. Again, I use Apple, so then it's nice. I use Apple Notes, and so it's on my computer, it's on my phone, it's on my tablet, and so I never, oh shoot, like where did I write that down at? Like I can review it at any time. So, yeah, write it down and review them, and then check them off once you complete one. It's very rewarding. Okay, so next I'm going to share how I lost 20 pounds in 90 days. Got off TRT, ran a 5K after not running for nearly 10 years. So this is kind of an interesting stat. After the age of 30, I believe it's 99% of the population never runs again. So who's over 30 here? And well, Josh, you don't count. No. So, but yeah, over 30, and yeah, when's the last time you went for a run? So yeah. Right. That's good. That's good. So, how did I do it? This is in no particular order. These are just the steps I took. So, all right. Let's see. Okay. So, number one, hire a coach. So, I hired a personal trainer, and like right now, I track all my food on MyFitnessPal, and then he's even having me take it a step further. I got to take a picture of each item, and having a personal trainer that actually has a track record where you want to go. So yeah, if you want to run a marathon, like work with a personal trainer that's maybe like train people how to run that. Like don't hire like a bodybuilder or a power lifter coach if you want to run a marathon. So let's see here. And then, then I cleaned up my diet. I consume 90% whole food, 10% processed. When I say 10% processed, like maybe I'll have like a protein bar or something that's like, not like fruits and vegetables and real meat. Like, or honestly, I'll have a cake, or not like a whole cake, but a piece. So yeah, let's see here. And then, this was, I think that it's really interesting. The food we consume, that becomes part of our bodies. Like that becomes our hair, our skin, our eyes. So why wouldn't you want to fuel like the best items to your body so that you can be, like running like a Ferrari? I don't know. So, And I know Neil has a personal chef, and like once you say like it's made a world of difference. Like,
I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Everything eats really high
yeah,
quality now.
yeah. So who ate a meal tonight, and after they ate the meal tonight, like I could just take a nap, like, yeah. So yeah, just you too, Lauren. Yeah. 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 So it's amazing once you start cleaning up your diet. I mean, just how much more clarity and energy that you have. So yep. Let's see here. All right, number 3, get blood work done and optimize hormones. So again, I feel like this is something that's really overlooked, that like what is really going on inside of our body. So take the time, and for me, I think I went to 4 different doctors and they all said the same thing. Well, I say the one guy was like 70 years old and he was like, yeah, your blood work's off, but you don't need to do anything. So he's like, just clean up your diet and exercise. So yeah, that's obviously really important. So I think here in Omaha, there's many clinics and clinics that you can go to. So all right, let's see here.
Hey, Darin,
Yeah.
How's it work with
Yeah.
your, because you're married, right?
Yeah.
How's it work with your spouse, with you getting up at 4:30?
Yep.
How was that hard to work through?
Yep.
Different schedules on waking up and stuff?
Yeah. So that, and again, the power.
Does she wake up at 4:30?
No.
No, she went to sleep in.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the weekends, most of the time you'll see her in the bed on the weekends sleeping.
Yeah. 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 And that's why she's so beautiful. Beauty rest. So.
Every time when he goes on the phone, he's like, "Hi, beautiful." or sometimes he even calls her Queen Bee. I'm like,
Yeah. So, yeah. And again, like, really what's been transformative is working with my mindset coach. And so, like, there was a period, hey, I'm not motivated to go to the gym. Hey, I have very low energy, like, at the gym. And so he had me, like, pause, and he said, take me back when you had energy and you were excited about going to the gym. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, I woke up at 4:30, just went to the gym right away. And yeah, so it's, again, having that visualization to take you back to that time. I will say that my wife and I have put a lot of work into our marriage, especially this last 6 months. And so, yeah, if you want, I know this is the real estate meetup, but yeah, if you want like a close relationship with your spouse, and maybe if you're a guy, you want, certain things, keep your phone down, and then like at night, instead of, hey, when you put the kids to bed, you're both on your phone, one spouse is laying over here, the other one there, and you're just on TikTok scrolling. Put the phone to the side and actually have a conversation. And if you want certain things out of your spouse or your wife, like typically, women want that nurturing and that relationship. They want to be seen, and you want to be seen as well. So I don't know if that helps any, but I will say, like who you marry and your partner like has a big indicator like who you become. So my wife is my biggest cheerleader, and then for me starting on this journey, then she started doing the thing. So then she hired a personal trainer and cleaned up her diet, and then even she was really crabby for 1 week, and I'm like, have you ate anything this week? And she started tracking her food, and then she's like, no, I've been eating like 500 calories a day. So yeah. So but yeah, I will say that it is sometimes hard for me to go to sleep, and then I usually like pop out of bed right away. If you can get these things dialed down, and like for me, again, I'm a person of faith, and like maybe I believe God wants to bless you, and so like I'm so excited about the day, like and maybe Tucker can really there's I mean, I've got so many things lined up for tomorrow that I'm like excited for tomorrow, because it's like things that like we got we'll be closing on 4 deals at the end of this month. So it's just like, I don't know, I'm just really excited about the day. So, okay. So, and then, recovery. So I use the sauna 5 times a week. And then, maybe this is something that not a lot of people know of, but I also do the hyperbaric chamber 2 times a week. And so that really helps with recovery and mental focus. It's virtually like 100% oxygen. And so again, like, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Like, what are the top performing athletes doing? They're doing this. So like, who do you want to become? So,
Do you have to buy a hyperbaric chamber, or where exactly?
yeah, so again, the doctor, the clinic that I go to, and I get my blood work done, they have one right there, and I just pay a monthly membership for it. So, so it's awesome. Like, I've had plenty of conversations with Neil in the chamber. So, yeah.
The problem when your clients get up at 4:30 is they call you at 5:30.
Yeah, right. And one of the biggest takeaways from my speech tonight is, like, maybe for me, I felt bad, or like I was behind that, but one of the key takeaways from my speech tonight is I'm not a perfect person. Like, I broke my morning routine this morning. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna sleep in till 5:30, 6. And then since I woke up late, then I broke another one of my rules, is no social media and no checking email before I take care of myself. Make sure I got a good foundation. So then I get an email from Neil's assistant that came over at 2 a.m. and was like, well, to do this deal, we need this, and I'm like, Neil, what the heck? So, 7:05. Yeah, 7:05. So, and like one of them was, they wanted my 25. They just said, hey, I want your 2025 tax return, and I'm like, I thought I was getting a DSCR loan, not a community bank loan. So, but Neil said, don't worry about it. So we're good. All right. So let's see here. Okay, we said the recovery, and then for me, no stimulants after 4 p.m. prior to I can't say it. Prioritize. So my wife is a speech pathologist, and so it's good I'm married to her. At least I can halfway speak English. So yes. So again, like, sleep costs you nothing to do, but it can really obviously affect your day. So like, if that's one thing that, if you want to improve your health, improve your sleep. Again, unless you're Tucker, who only needs 5 hours of sleep. So Tucker's one of my closest friends, so I can tease him. So yeah. So all right. Okay. And then so 4 keys to invest in yourself first. So last year, being a husband, a father, not really a very good friend, and a business owner, I was shot. Running this unhealthy drift and trap. Last November, I finally had enough. I decided to make a change. I reached out for help and started taking care of myself so that I can take care of others. I believe this is often overlooked in our lives. We are just drifting and running on empty. Therefore, today I'm going to communicate to you guys, invest in yourself first so that you can invest in others. Number 1 is build your network, meetups, church, gym, volunteer work. The enemy wants isolation. God wants community. So this is all great. I don't know if like, for me, I went through a really bad time of anxiety, and so like, coming to this meetup, there would be maybe a time I would drive up to the meetup and I couldn't get out of the car. And so I don't know if anybody experience that tonight. Like, hey, it's maybe kind of like anxiety really creeps in just to come into something like this. So, and then, number 2 is hire a coach or counselor. Again, vet them carefully. Find someone who has already achieved what you want. So it's very important to take advice from somebody that, like has already got a proven track record and will help you get where you want to go. If don't be listening to if like, I don't know, a guy has like no job and is like, I don't know, homeless or something like that, it's probably not gonna get you where you want to go. So, all right. And then number 3, again, like I've shared, my faith is very important to me. So intentional time at the start of the day, of every day, or meditation, visualization, whatever grounds you. And then 2 books that really impacted me and changed my life last year is Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell and Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. So I think that's the second book, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Who's heard of the book Think and Grow Rich? Yep. Oh my goodness, like virtually everybody in this room. But did you know that he had this book, Outwitting the Devil?
No. Heard of it.
Yeah. So Napoleon Hill wrote this book in 1938. It didn't get released until like the mid 80s. And so he wrote this book, and his wife read the book, and he said, his wife said, don't release that book. If you release that book, that's going to end your career. And so it's just so crazy how the enemy, the devil, can incite such fear and can win. And like, to me, the book is transformative. So highly, highly recommend that book. I listened to the audio version. It's him interviewing the devil. So it's super cool. So, all right. So just a brief overview of Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. So he teaches entrepreneurs should systematically buy back their time by delegating, automating, and eliminating low-value tasks so they can focus on what truly drives growth and fulfillment. And so, again, if you're starting out in real estate, I believe your first hire should be a VA. And in my case, I should have hired a VA bookkeeper right away. So again, I think we just start down this journey and we think we have to do it all by ourselves. And what happens if you think you have to do it, you're going to get burnt out. Be in this trap where like actually there's real power in reaching out for help, and then find that person, that VA that complements you. So like for me, I'm a visionary. I like relationships. I like putting deals together. Helping people. On the bookkeeping side, I've tried that. That sucks energy from me. But I love looking at like P&Ls and like. So our part-time bookkeeper is going to come and work for us full-time now, and like I'm excited to see like what our burn rate is. Like, hey, how much income do we got coming in? How much expenses do we got upcoming? And like, are we going to stay afloat? So I would say, if you're getting started in real estate, let's say you're a contractor. Well, you might be really great at doing the work and being there, but then who's doing the business side? Who's doing the books? And then, sometimes as a contractor, you're doing great work, but if nobody's doing the books and creating the invoices, I guess you're just like maybe running a charity or something, So So that's what I would recommend. And then the second book, Outwitting the Devil, it presents a fictional interview with the devil, revealing how fear, procrastination, lack of purpose control people, and argues that clarity of purpose self-discipline, and independent thinking are the keys to breaking free and achieving success. So when I got started in real estate, I fully got started in multifamily. So what I've really learned now is the velocity of capital, and time loves money, or money loves time. And so when I was in multifamily, I was doing big deals, but maybe the turnaround would take quite a bit of time. And so then what I discovered, the few single family that we did have, we would have excellent residents. They would stay for a long time. And so then I shifted to single family and a more active job. And so then that's been nice to be able to churn the capital a lot quicker, and it's been transformative. So and instead of like waiting for big chunks, like maybe a year or 6 months, it's nice on the single family. We got so many deals, like I've got deals churning every month that I've got paychecks coming in every month now. So yeah, that was a part of that. And so, all right. So now the exciting part, so the actual some real meat and potatoes. So yeah, we'll go into some real world examples, how you can get started in real estate investing and or grow your business. So yeah, again, since this is the creative finance group, so these are 6 creative strategies that I'm going to share tonight. We shared the 7th one with the trust assignment acquisition, and so yeah, so we'll get in more into this, but yeah, well, the number 1 is the house hack: live in one unit, rent the other to cover your mortgage. And number 2 will be large down plus annual payments. Negotiate 50% down, and the rest due after 1 year refinance. Low down, principal only, minimal cash in, seller finance with annual principal payments. Seller credit, negotiate seller paid closing cost or deductions to reduce out of pocket. The seller carryback, seller finances a portion. You get in less bank involvement. And then our favorite model right now is buy, rehab, rent to own, and then refinance. So force equity, place tenant buyer, then cash out with a refinance. So, all right. So we'll do the first real world example.
Is there a big market for rent to own?
Yes. Yeah.
So I've always been scared to do it.
Right. Yeah. Can you share, Tucker, how many you have?
About 50.
50?
Yeah, and that's in 4 years?
Yeah, about 3.5.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't had one that we haven't sold. Some have taken longer. The last 2 we sold them before we finished the rehab.
Yeah.
How do you market? That's always kind of something I didn't understand.
So, at least, so on my end, people will reach out for rental, and then we say, well, if you could own this, would you want to do that? And they're like, hell yeah. so yeah, we've done, so we've just started down this path. So in the last month, we have done 3 of them. So yeah, I will say maybe I have a little bit of advantage because I already have a large rental portfolio. So like Lou doesn't know this, but we probably got like 11 that will convert from rentals to rent to own. So, and at least on our end, every market's a little bit different. For us, it's self-employed people. So let's say somebody's a truck driver, so they're, believe it or not, some truck drivers make over $200K a year. So, but then the banks is like, well,
Credit is still 600.
yeah, but your credit is still 600. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so it can be very hard to get somebody into a conventional loan because since 2008, you gotta have this, and this, and yeah. So yeah, it's like, yeah, self-employed have been our biggest, client. Maybe for Tucker, maybe it's like immigrants or like the Hispanic community that maybe doesn't have all the documentation or maybe doesn't trust the bank or is maybe used to it. I don't know her. Yeah. So
That's mainly who we open our buyers.
So does it go like on Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah, that's how
Is
we
that-
find them mainly. Facebook Marketplace,
it is?
referrals, bandit signs.
Cool.
Yeah, bandit signs and trailer parks. Because usually they'll sell their trailer to use that as a down payment.
Oh, that's interesting. That's clever.
Yep.
Smart.
yeah.
You structure your
Yep.
setup
Yeah.
on a lease deal.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, ours is a little bit different. So again, I'm looking to Tucker, my close friend over here. So we actually work with a trustee, and then a trust actually owns the property, and then each person has beneficial ownership. And so when we market a deal, we require 10% down, and then the interest rate is typically right around 8.5%. But we just had somebody recently, they put nearly 40% down, and then I had quite a bit of wiggle room for what I had into the deal and then what we listed the property. So she actually got a 5% interest rate. So she's bringing home $4,500 a month, and then she wanted a payment around $1,500, and so yeah, we worked with her on that. So
You're doing it pretty much like Tucker does that.
Yeah.
And stuff same way.
yeah.
Do either one of you guys, at some point, it's pretty much on the person that's got the lease to take care of the house. But do you guys have anything set up that, like, if it hits maybe 5,000 and above, then you step in to take care of repairs? Or I've heard of that with a lease.
So
to own type deal.
so yeah, I just want to be the person offering the service of financing. So I don't want to be a landlord.
So 100%.
Yeah,
back on
yeah,
10.
yeah. So
Was it rent to own and not seller finance?
so yeah, technically it's owner finance. I say rent to own because that's maybe what we're used to calling it. But yeah, it's owner finance. Yep, exactly. So yep.
You guys have property managers run everything then?
Yeah, we do have 2 full-time property managers. Yeah. So yeah, and we just all work as a team. So Lou, he handles the acquisition side, and then he works on the disposition side. So yep. So yeah, that's a good point, because yeah, I got to the point where, I mean, even now I'm not getting everything done in one day. Like things are carrying over. So like yeah, so it's good to reach out for help, and like each person is good at, because like there'll be days. I mean, your days are full, right, Lou?
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah. So yep. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Did you start out with property managers, or did you manage yourself? And when? When did you say, "Hey, I need help
Yep.
to
Yep.
management"?
So when my and I was like, what do I talk about? Do I do my story? And so just a brief, my story. I grew up on the farm, and then I was a bank loan officer for 2 years, and then I sold my farm, and then I started investing in real estate. And I thought that, okay, if I manage my own properties, that can be my active job. And so that's something that I want to share tonight. That didn't really play out. So anybody that's in property management, I mean, there's not really any money. I mean, maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can speak on that. That
You need a team.
yeah, I need a team.
You're not going to be a property management all on your own, because you need a lot of doors to make it profitable.
Right. Yes.
And a lot of doors means you can't do it on your own.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And so, but I did manage my own right away, because I'd heard all the horror stories with management companies, and so yeah. So I started managing my own because I had the time, and I thought I could replace, like, that would be my active income, and then plus at that time, all the third-party property management companies had very bad reputations. So, and which, like, managing it on our own, we like blew them out of the water. So, yeah, I guess that's just my personal opinion. And I guess that's another thing that I want to share is, if you want to get started in real estate investing, if you've got a good W-2 that you enjoy, stay there. Don't just like, hey, I'm going to quit and, oh, I'm going to be able to live off $100 a month off of my net cash flow on this rental, because at least how it's played out for me, and I've talked to landlords that have been doing it for 25, 30 years, and they're like, hey, I'm glad I had my active job, because sometimes our active job had to pour into the rentals, but I'm glad we had the rentals because I bought properties from these people, and then I see like the one, they bought it for $250 and then they sold it to me for $750. So like, so it's good to have, if you're getting started, you need to have the active income, and then you need to have, and if you want to start to get involved in real estate investing, then you can have the wealth building. But so like the active income, again, you could have a really good W-2. You could be involved in like the real estate space such as like a lender. For us, our active income is the flips, and then doing the rent to owns, and so yeah, that's what I would recommend. That I think that sometimes the gurus don't share that. Oh, you can just get started in real estate investing and you can just live off of the rentals. I mean, maybe that works for someone. At least what I've seen is like maybe somebody's a landlord for 25 years and then they're burnt out because like, oh, hey, I'm going to do everything myself. And so they're taking all the calls, they're mowing, they're doing all the snow removal. And then at least for me, I like to have nice things after my hard work. Well, then what I would see is like these landlords, to have that life, they had to be ultra frugal. So they're driving the 10-year-old or 15-year-old vehicle, the same house that they bought in 1975, and nothing, like it's good to be frugal. And honestly, like when I went through my journey, I mean, right now my vehicle is still 10 years old, so like I guess, but everybody has their things that are more important to them. But I did want to share that part that I think even like Pace Morby, he's got his community. He's got active income. So I think sometimes that's something that's misled or yeah. So yep. Okay, well, we still on the house hack? So okay, yeah. So yeah.
So when you do the lease to own or the
Yep.
rent to own,
Yep.
basically they're paying the mortgage down to you, right?
Yep.
Or they're paying that down.
Yep.
At what point do you give them ownership of the property?
When the contract is fulfilled. So, and maybe Tucker can help me out. So they have beneficial ownership of the trust, and then the trust owns the property. So that,
The deed when it's paid off.
yeah,
So they have to wait until it's paid off.
yeah. So either they sell or refinance.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What if they want to move? Then they just leave and you can rent it to a new person? Same contract.
Yeah, they can sell it.
So it would be their right to sell.
Yeah. Yep. And I did have this question, and I'm going to say yes. Like I had somebody say, "Hey, can I rent this house out?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like I'm just providing financing.
Yeah, as long as we get paid.
Yeah, as long as we get paid.
So then at what point
Yep.
do you have some portion of ownership to where if they stop paying, you can reclaim the home, right? That you still can retain the deed?
Yeah. So if they stop paying, then the way that I understand, Tucker, first a notice default is sent out, and then the notice to cure is sent out, and then it's actually an eviction because they don't actually own the property; they have beneficial ownership in the trust.
Which
And
is personal property.
yeah, personal property.
They have lease rights to the real estate. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
So we can evict them.
Yeah, we won't be foreclosing on them. Yep. Yep.
Have either one of you guys had strict rules and stuff where if they ever missed a payment that you deny them the ability to buy the house and take it back if they want to?
I haven't done that. No.
And you're 50. Did you have any non one default?
Yeah.
Yep. And can you share how that, like when things go south, how that went?
Yeah, we just evicted him, and he only had $15K down, and I gave him 2 or 3 months to like pay. So I was pretty lenient with him, but he eventually got out of there.
Yep. and I guess I should have asked this. But they don't get their down. Yeah.
No.
Yep. Yep. So.
Well, that's non-refundable usually anyway.
Right. Yeah. It's a down.
Fee,
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
yours.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Well, it sounds like people are like, hey, let's skip to the good part. So this is a real world example of what our current business model is, and so we bought this property for $38,000. The rehab was $22,000. We sold for $169,500. I did a cash out refinance of $40,000. Theirs was a down payment of $16,900. The monthly payment's $1,500, and our payment's $1,100. So maybe this is where it gets a little bit confusing. Okay, so I'm going to ask a question for you guys. Do banks borrow money? What do you think? Yep. Oh, okay. So give me some examples. Mortgage.
Banks borrow money from
Yeah.
the government.
Yep. Okay. There we go. Yes.
5.5% and sucker you into 7%.
Yep. So I just talked to one of my good friends and mentors. He was a bank CEO, and now he's a senior loan officer. And he's like, yeah, we're just money brokers. So like his bank, maybe when they don't have cash, they borrow from the Fed. The federal funds rate, what is that, 3.5% or 4%? So they'll borrow at 4%, and then their borrowed money, then they'll lend that out to you at 7%, and they're just making the delta. So that's all we're doing here. I'm providing financing. I'm lining the financing up.
I have somewhat of a funny story on that because,
Yep.
and it'll show my naiveness, but sorry for people that don't know me, I do short-term rentals, so I own 6 properties on Airbnbs in Branson, Missouri, but as I started building and buying more properties, I actually went to my banker and I'm like, the only thing on my mind was interest rate. Like, what I want the lowest interest rate possible because that's going to increase my cash flow and allow me to go buy more properties. And I told the banker at one time, I said, I would really like to know why I can't just walk in and tell you what I want my interest rate to be because I've never missed a payment. I own all that, like you're making money off of me, et cetera, et cetera. And he's like, well, I like to feed my kids. And so when he really explained the borrowing money that Darin was just going over, then
Yep.
it made sense. Like,
Yep.
you know, we're all just a cog in this big machine, right? So we need them as much as they need us. So.
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, like when you deposit your money into the bank, then they're lending that out. We're really lending our money to them. And so that's the one way. Again, the banks will borrow from the Fed, and actually banks will borrow from other banks. So I think that like maybe they even create bonds and stuff. So I think it took a little bit for me to like wrap my head around it. But then, like, again, I was talking to my friend that's, senior loan officer, and then he's like, yeah, we lend to trust all the time. And plus, like, as long as the DSCR is there, the debt service coverage ratio, we're good. And plus, you're doing what we do, so we understand it. So, yep.
Do
Yep.
we have any bankers in the room? Like, that's their full-time job?
I'm a mortgage lender. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, another just fun example that I went through is like my personal property, for example, it's at 3.25%. And, buddy's a banker, talk to him all the time. He's like, you come in and pay that off. We're buying you a fruit basket. We're sending you to Aruba. Like, we want that off the books. But a lot of banks now are very lenient. I'm a realtor also. So when I'm working with clients trying to get pre-approved, they need this. And I feel like, maybe 3-4 years ago when you get a mortgage and now they have all these mortgages on the books for 3 to 4%. Is that why banks are maybe starting to get a little bit leery now?
It's part of it. So like the change in bond rates bankrupted a lot of banks. Like we had the bailouts happen, like Silicon Bank. Like that was because they had locked all this money at such a low rate that it was like if you buy a put option and then you could like lose infinitely in the stock market.
Right.
Essentially, a lot of banks had made that bet because the Fed told us Fed rate wasn't going to change, which it did like 9 months later. So that was great. But what you're seeing is consumer debt's all-time high, Affordability is all-time low. There is no more job growth past couple months. It's stagnated because of AI. Inflation will continue to rise because of the impact on oil that we've had recently. So there's not a lot of optimistic market factors. Foreclosures are ticking up, car defaults are ticking up. So because there's literally no positive economic factors, banks are just getting tighter. So like commercial banks are being less flexible. Mortgage guidelines are like reducing down. A month ago, I could do DSCR loans at 85%, it's like 15% down DSCR loan. That's now gone, it's 20%. It's like, it's just kind of part of the course as essentially banks they're just preparing.
Yeah.
Essentially, I don't mean to be doom and gloom, but
Yeah,
that's
well,
kind
and
of what's happening.
I tell a lot of my investor friends too, like, if a bank's telling you no, it's not because they want to tell you no.
Yeah.
Like, that's their life is loaning money.
And that's a good, like, I'm a mortgage lender, but I'm also a pretty active flipper. I'm sorry to still.
No, you're good.
I've convinced banks to give me money, and it's always been a bad deal.
Yeah.
So anytime I have to like really sell my banker to bet on me on something,
Yeah.
I shouldn't do the deal, right? And so just so you know. But honestly, rent-to-owns are doing so well because the economy is doing so poor.
Correct.
So like if affordability was in check, if there was positive economic factors, rent-to-owns would not be attractive because these people would just be buying homes. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like the cycle of the economy, the cycle of the market as a whole as it transitions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why banks are getting more strict.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. Thanks.
So
Yeah.
you're lending him on these properties?
On a lot of them. Yeah, we do a lot of deals together.
And that's okay what he's doing?
I don't lend on those deals.
Okay, so is whoever's lending you on
Yep.
the deal,
Yep.
those deals,
Yep.
aware what you're doing?
Yep.
And have you talked with a lawyer about the trust that you're putting in transferring ownership or, due on sale clauses, any of that kind of stuff?
Okay. Due on sale clause. So due on sale clause. So that would be like taking.
So the bank,
Yeah.
if you breach the terms of your deed of trust,
Yeah.
the bank has the right to accelerate the foreclosure.
Yeah.
In that deed of trust, one of the things is you're not able to transfer ownership to the property to somebody else.
Right.
And then if you do that, you are in breach of your dot.
Yeah.
So typically do, but that's what the acceleration clause
Yeah.
that we talked about in this.
Yeah.
But technically your borrower is part of that trust to begin with.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're in breach of.
Right.
It's not sold.
Right. Yeah.
Technically, it is sold.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's like the lender may
Yeah.
or may not have guidelines about lending to like a trust in this capacity, but it wouldn't be a breach of the.
So are you buying these in those trusts or transferring them into the trust after the fact?
Both. Yep. So.
And then are you
Yep.
in charge of the insurance then?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's escrowed. So yeah, you'd want to keep so that you make sure. Yeah. Right. Yep. And then it's escrowed, and then we work with a third party servicing company that make sure that it's all paid. So. Did that answer all your questions?
Kind of. I mean, I still,
Yeah.
the legality of
Yeah.
it, I think is
Yeah.
It's also done by an
Right.
attorney.
What's that?
It is done by an attorney.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
trustee.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, so I'm not licensed.
You should give us your attorney.
Yeah, I'm not licensed. I'm not an attorney. I'm not an accountant. So I'm not a realtor. I'm just a person that, wants to improve the community and provide a service for people, and trying to make a living for my family. And go ahead, sweetheart.
If you don't know who he is, he's a real estate investor. So what he does is that he buys homes for people.
Yeah. Tucker, is there anything else that we need to share?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Oh, just what areas do you buy in? Is it
Oh, yeah, Norfolk and Columbus, and we just, Omaha now, and this is the power of relationships, and while we're here, because we had been looking for a house in Omaha for the last 3 years, and then met Josh, and then I was like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, Josh, and Josh brought me the deal. So, so again, like the power of the meetup. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe this is going over my head.
Yep.
Why wouldn't some
because it's against DS. So like, may I?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So there are lenders that do.
Yep.
I do not. Because
As of now.
As of now.
Yeah.
Because.
And this is good. Invest and do deals that you understand. So the reason, I could have done the typical rent-to-own model where there's the lease. There's two different documents. There's the lease, and then there's the option. But then the property stays in my LLC, and I feel like I've got a lot more control and a lot more rights. And like, is it really creating ownership? I feel like, yes, some of the rent-to-own models, it felt a little slimy or scammy. And so then the trust route, I felt like that had a lot more protections for the tenant buyers. So that's why I've decided.
Both parties, really, right?
Yeah, both parties, yeah. Yeah.
So the reason some lenders are against it, so like I do a lot of DSCR loans, and my servicers don't allow DSCR loans to be used for rent-to-owns. So like as a lender, if I know it's a rent-to-own and the borrower is like this trust component, I can lend to a trust, but then I'm lending to a trust that is a vehicle for a rent-to-own. And it's like I just looked at like what my license was worth to me, and I was like, if there's another lender who doesn't have this same like guideline, or wants to pretend like they don't know it's a rent-to-own, that's okay. But it's like for me, it just wasn't an option that I could do and be within like where I should be within my lending box.
Yeah. Neil brings up a very good point. In this industry, morals and doing the right thing and relationships outweighs than like, I'm going to try to skirt a deal. So I just feel like that goes a long ways. Yeah.
Neil, would you agree with the statement that with like hard money or DSCR loans, those lenders want to be in first position?
Always.
Usually, always, yeah.
Yeah,
So
your lenders,
that's why
yeah.
they won't
Yeah.
want to lend on it.
Yeah, I'm rolling out DSCR loan second positions. If
Yeah,
everyone
right,
has
that
rentals
sounds-
with really low interest rates, hit me up next week. We'll have second position loans for you for DSCR. But yeah, you're going to want to be in first position. And if that answers your question, yeah.
How can we heard that?
Yeah. So yeah, it can be a way, the duplex that we got under contract right now, it can be a way that the seller gets, like again, we paid full asking for this. They can get their number and we can have the numbers work for us. And the reason we did that is because it was going to take a while to get the rents up. Yep.
What was it worth when you bought it? $325?
It appraised right away for 505.
Oh, so you knew it was a deal.
Yeah, I knew it was a deal. Yep. So, yep. But again, like we paid full, like whatever the seller wanted for.
When you do those,
Yeah.
you try to keep them on buildings like more than 5 units. You have more control over forcing that appreciation. Or you only do it when it's a surefire deal, for example.
No.
I think teeing it up's really
Yeah.
important.
Right. Yeah.
So you're just creating a future Darin problem.
Right. Yes. Right. You can do it on a single family home as well. So like if somebody wants 150,000 or 200,000 for their property, but Neil does bring up a good point. Make sure that like for me it appraised right away for 505. So like for me, if I'm going to buy it, if the seller wants 150,000, I already want to know that 150,000 is at least 75% of that value.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like you knew this deal
Yep.
was slam dunk
Yep.
before you agreed to pay them half now and half.
Right.
Did
Right.
they have it paid off?
Yeah, they had it paid off. Yeah.
And if you were to just play into that, like if you were to do this deal and it was just market value, that half down, half later
Yep.
would be a problem in the
Yes.
future. Because you haven't been able to necessarily create that appreciation.
Yep. So Neil brings up a very good point. Yeah. So if you are going to do a deal like this, like make sure, like you've got a good exit strategy and that like it's actually worth, like be very safe with your numbers. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Conservative with your numbers. So.
How do you?
Yep.
How do you? it's always the joke amongst realtors that a house appraises for whatever the contract says.
Oh, right.
So how do you handle like, because I mean, I've been on some deals as a realtor that are the other way.
Yeah.
Purchased at this and it immediately appraises for way above, which is great. But I don't know if you know a bunch of the appraisers in the Norfolk area, but that seems to happen a lot. So how do you, like, you bought it for $325, what do you do when this comes back appraised at $325? Is it no longer attractive?
So
We see that a lot.
yeah, so then you can either get like, hey, get a second appraisal, or
Well, you
yes,
can make, as the buyer, you
Yeah.
can make the contract contingent,
right,
or the purchase contingent on an appraisal.
Right.
If you say, I want it to appraise at 150% of what I'm buying. But
Right.
I'm not saying that, but I guess where I'm going with this is you found this deal.
Yeah.
Did you just get lucky with the appraisal? Because most of the time that what we see is, and maybe some of the realtors from Omaha can maybe chime in, but at least around our area, 90% of the time, the appraiser finds out what the contract is, and that's what it appraises for.
Yeah, it was kind of weird when I got started in real estate investing. All my I did like 4 deals. For some reason, they all appraised for $40,000 more. So I'm like, is the realtor just like, yeah, like whatever you purchase, I'll just add a 40 and I'll keep on getting business. And then it was exciting. Then I started getting deals that started appraising for $100,000 more than the purchase.
Is it more common in smaller communities?
The appraisal comes in higher. I guess I only invest in Norfolk and Columbus area, so I can't speak to Omaha, but at least from what Neil tells me, the appraisers in Omaha have like been hammering down like crazy.
They have.
Yeah.
Because essentially, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Essentially, like when what you'll notice is appraisers are de-risking like banks are de-risking. So like appraisers aren't going out on limbs like they were 2020, 2021. The same, and then Justin, to your point, even if that did appraise because the appraiser sees 325, he just makes his job easy, 325. If Darin has done good due diligence and understands it's a $500,000 property, when a year comes around, that appraisal that was done a year ago won't have any merit because a new appraisal will be done. So I think in that case, like you would still be covered. The only reason I brought up unit count is I think it's more predictable, and Darin would be the perfect person. I'm not trying to answer questions, I'm trying to teach.
Yes, yeah.
Talk about because with you multifamily more than 5, now you're looking at income approach.
Right,
opposed to
yes,
approach.
right.
So I think that puts you in a position where it's easier to predict the future value.
Yes, right.
If you can say, hey, I can get my NOI to this.
Yes, exactly.
It will be worth Y.
Yep.
And it's less dependent on the sales around.
Yep, exactly.
Speak to that at all, but I think it's important.
Yeah, no, Neil brings up a good point that, when you go from residential 1 to 4 units, that could be based more on comps. And then once you go 5 or more units, then that's based more off of the income approach. So then that goes into like cap rates. So, if somebody wants, a 10 cap or a 6 cap or whatever, then that more determines the value.
And where it's beneficial is if you know that you can bring X, rents to X, and you can keep your costs at Y, what that appraisal is going to come in at just about ahead of time. It's like being able to see the future.
Does the bank need to see a year's worth of rents at that rate, or are they okay knowing the market says this was what it'll rent for?
They're going to want to, I guess it depends. So when you buy it, they're going to look at your pro forma of where you're taking the building.
Okay.
And as long as that checks out, they'll typically get behind the deal. When it comes time for that future refinance, they're going to go off of actuals, which it won't require a year at that stabilization, but they'll want long-term year leases. Anytime you're dealing with short-term, it gets more difficult because they won't accept your shorter snapshot of income like they will if you just have 6 12-month leases, for example.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Okay, so next we'll go down low down principal only. Okay, so we just purchased this property last fall, so this is good. It's a nice recent example. So purchase price was $166. Again, it was a duplex. Each unit's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 1 car garage per unit. And the seller presented all these terms to me, so I didn't come up with these. So the gal called me and said, Darin, it was virtually like, Darin, can we meet at the title company on Monday? And I'm like, okay, well, great. Like, what are we doing? And she's like, well, yeah, we're gonna like sign the papers. You're gonna buy my property. And I'm like, okay, well, how much are you asking? So I will say that this, there was kind of a pre-existing relationship here. Again, this seller actually, her daughter posted this on Facebook 7 years ago, and I called on it right away, and they took the listing off right away, and they said, hey, we're not ready to sell right now. And then I had a contractor that was good friends with the seller and then she called like 4 places around, and they're like, if you're gonna sell, this is who I would sell to. And they all, like, I don't know, it was just nice. They all referred me, so I did really appreciate that. So again, like, I just want to stress that, like, relationships, morals, we're all imperfect people, but that's more important than like trying to squeeze a deal or do something shady, because then those relationships then it can equate to a deal like this. In my case, it took 7 years, but then it came to us again. So anyways, yeah, the purchase price was $166. She only wanted a $3,000 down payment, and then it's annual principal payments only. So we actually just made the payment here March 1st, and we put the $3,000 down. So help me out, Niels. That's like $150. Yeah, like how much we currently owe. Yeah. So yeah, somewhere around there. So and then each unit rents for $1,100, so $2,200 monthly. And I just had a duplex that's just 2 blocks away, recently appraised for $260. So again. Is there a balloon? Yeah. No balloon. So it equals out to like 15 years. Yep. So that can be another strategy. Again, yeah, maybe Justin talked about.
15 years at 0% interest?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Yep.
I'd have bought it too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, does anybody watch Richard Tate? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, so I was just, so it's kind of like, those are creating terms with the owner, right? Like, she's okay with just getting no interest.
That's how she wanted it. So yeah, for her, she's a person of faith, and for her, how she interprets the Bible, and actually, I think it even maybe says in the Old Testament, like, a believer should not charge another believer interest. So was her interpretation of that. So.
I mean, just in the few years that I've been a realtor, you never pinhole somebody into what you think they are.
Right.
Like, everybody has a different motive. And I think even just learning from Darin and learning these as a realtor, I want to use these. Not even as an investor. I want to use these as a realtor, because I do meet a lot of people that can't get qualified, but I see a lot of these helping everybody. Like I said, it helps everybody. I get paid, I get a commission pay, but also the homeowner can get into something that works for I think a lot of these methods. And not every method, like, I guess I wouldn't say, like, for the people in the room, like, that's the one I want to do. You can specialize in one, but I feel like you have to have that open mind of that deal may not work.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah. I will say, just real quick, the catch that you do want to be careful with these deals is the catch. It was beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, the one unit, the rehab was $13,000. So that's not factored into it. So again, like, this looks all good, but like, what's really going on behind the scenes? And then the other unit, she moved to Lincoln, and unfortunately she passed away, but we'll have to rehab that unit. So that's gonna be another $13K. So again, where does that $26,000 in rehab come from? So again, it's kind of cool. I know Neil's been sharing that hopefully he'll have a second lien DSCR product come available here soon. So again, I just want you guys to be careful. If you are going to go the creative finance route, and you got to put rehab, where's those rehab dollars coming from? So, yep, yep.
Those two, the owners didn't have any debt on the properties, right?
Right. Yep. Yep. So, yeah, and it worked great for the seller because then that sets her up for retirement, and then she worked exactly with her CPA, and then the benefits. And again, I'm not a CPA, but so when you do the seller finance, the way that I understand, you get tax on interest income, but if it's principal only payments, then you don't get taxed on that. So again, I'm not a CPA. Maybe it's a different tax bracket or a different how it's taxed. Yeah. So I'm looking at you like you're an accountant. Yeah. So and so yeah, and then before she was renting each side for like $300 or $500 a month. So really with the $11,000 a year, like she's getting more in income than what she was renting it minus her expenses on it. So it's like a sweet deal for her to become the bank. And if you ever want to sell somebody on seller finance or owner finance, so if you go to any city or town here in Omaha, what's the biggest and tallest building that's being built? Bank. Yep. So then how you can sell it is, do you want to go from the landlord is down here, the place to be is the bank. So, yep. You had a question? Or no? Nope. No. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So next we'll talk about seller credit. So we bought these 18 unit property. So purchase price was $1 million. We did a seller credit of $100,000. In this deal, I did bring more money to the table. This was cool. I worked with an investor that he seller financed his 8-plex, wanted his money to keep on moving. So then he actually invested in this deal. So we like his 8-plex we bought was a burr, and so then he was like, well, I don't need all this capital up front. I want to earn interest on it, and so then he actually invested $200,000 with us. We also did a 1031 exchange of $60,000, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. So an initial condition, there was only 2 tenants at the property, no financial records. He collected all the rent in cash, which is just like mind-boggling to me because you know how many benefits there are in real estate. But the property sat there forever, and then again, there's great realtors because I wouldn't have been able to close the deal without the realtor, because the realtor is like, hey, you have a real buyer here. He has real cash. And the seller, like, he approached me personally, but he was like, hey, I'm not moving from my number. And so then it was nice, like, actually working with a good realtor, and the realtor's like, hey, if you want to sell this, like, this is what you need to sell to him, and these are, like, you need to sell for this. So, okay, so then over 12 months, we invested $100,000 into the property, stabilized it, filled all the units. Then we sold it for 1.5 after 18 months. And then again, this is not something that's always talked about, but actually the first 12 months was negative cash flow. And again, the benefit of the investor note being the bank, even though they didn't get a part of the appreciation, they got paid every single month when we were losing money on the property. And then, so the first 12 months, negative cash flow, but after the last 6 months, we netted $40,000. And then the cool thing, we actually sold it for 1.35, but then the buyer, like when we went to go flip it, when we went to go sell it, then he did a seller credit of whatever 1.5 is minus 1.35. So like I did a seller credit on the front end, and then he did it again, like on his end. And so depending on what bank you work with, a lot of times they don't care where the down payment comes from. And so, you can do a credit at closing, and that can go towards the down payment. Does that make sense?
So literally
Yeah.
was the equity,
What's that?
was it the equity out of the house from the original owner, or is that what you're saying?
Which part?
For the down payment.
Oh, so the bank saw that we bought it for $1 million, but then they saw they counted the 100,000, the 10% seller credit, a part of the down payment, and then they saw the 200,000 and the 60. So what I'm getting at is if you want to buy a property, depending on the lender, there are this is not allowed with Neil, but like community banks typically is the banks that will do it, and it's typically banks that have under $1 billion in assets. They have more flexibility, and so what you can do is write in your contract, purchasing for $1 million, 10% credit, and depending on the lender, they'll use that 10% credit towards your down payment. So typically, you got to bring 20% down, so it's less that you would need to bring down. Yep.
It still has to appraise for that inflated purchase price, essentially.
Right, yeah. So when we bought this, what did it appraise for? I think it appraised right away for 1.1, and then was going to.
Buying it for 900, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then it was kind of funny, like when when we got it reappraised, then the CEO of the bank said, no way could have it gone up in that much of value in that short of time, and then we sold it. So yeah. So again, like don't listen to just like some banker because they're like sitting there and not doing your job. So be careful who you take advice from. So. Okay, well, cool. Hey, all right, so the last one, because we already went over that one. Okay, so the last one is the seller carryback. So I bought this fourplex for $300,000. The seller wanted to do this. They wanted to do a seller carryback of $85,000. At that time, I think the interest rate was like 3%, maybe like 3.5%. And then again, worked with another investor that had capital, and they wanted to get a return. So again, worked with another investor that brought $30,000. We invested $25,000 into the property. We increased rents from $550 to $995, and then sold 2 years later for $425. But then when I sold it, I wanted to still be making money off the property, so then I did another seller carryback of $85,000. So every single month I get a check for like $300, and sometimes I even like forget about like that income coming. So again, it's like the best part is to be the bank. And at this time, let's say this netted around, $100, $200 a unit, and so it'd be like eight, it's like very nominal. Like let's say it's $100, so like $400 a month. So it's like I'm almost like getting the same with the seller carryback. And then again, purchased it for $300. 2 years later, sold it for $425. But we did have $25 into the property. So again, made $100,000 in 2 years. So, yep. Any questions on that one? All right.
Darin's the only person I know who has done a seller carry refinance where he had the seller give him more money. Real estate is so creative. He did a owner finance deal, so they were the bank.
Yeah.
He had this thing paid off, and then called the guy like, "Hey, can I refinance?" The guy gave him the money against that property.
Yeah.
And it goes to show, like, you have to ask.
Yeah.
No one in this room's probably done that because I've never thought of it.
Yes. Yeah.
But you have to ask.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we already went over to the rent to own. Again, why I like this method is because, like, in our world, we spend all the marketing dollars, we go to all the work, like negotiating the deal, lining up the financing, doing the rehab, and then your traditional flip, you only make money one time. And so this is why I like the rent to own, because, or the owner finance technically, that not only do you get money right up front, a large down payment up front, but then in this case, their payment's $1,500 a month, our payment's $1,100 a month, and there's a monthly spread of $400. So then you get true cash flow because you're not making the repairs.
You're getting rent without owning the property.
Yep, exactly.
I guess my main question
Yep.
on all of it though is,
Yep.
I mean, do you balloon some of them, not some of them? Like at the end of the day, I'm assuming at some point in time you want to be free of this property. So no, you'll hold it for 30 years if
It's an annuity.
It's better.
Because
Yeah.
It's better.
Because you're
Yeah.
getting that $400
Yeah.
a month
Yeah.
cash flow.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Again, and that's like maybe the difference from like the traditional. We know the people, Justin, the traditional model. Yeah. That maybe it doesn't feel exactly good or right. So yeah.
If it makes sense, every 7 years or so, you can refinance out the equity in it and use it to either expand your portfolio or use it for whatever.
Your loan has to be shorter than their loan though. So if they're on 30-year and they're 10 years into it, you only have 20 years left, you can only refinance for 20.
Or else you're upside down when they.
You can't be upside down when they pay it off.
But you could.
I've been there.
Well, I'm okay.
the person died.
I understand.
No. That's good. And maybe Tucker, can you got.
Underlying debt has to be lower than your buyer note if you cash out.
No, that's fine. I
Yeah.
was more thinking when you were talking long-term
Right.
holds,
Right.
that it was just a straight deal where you had it and then you had, the option to
Yep.
refinance.
Yep.
That
Yep.
way, but
Yeah.
Not necessarily stepping on this type of deal.
Yep. All good points. And that's where if you're gonna get into the business or do a deal, like just slow down and make sure you do your proper due diligence. And just because I'm doing this doesn't mean this is the right way to do it. So, yep. All right. Guess what? We're to the end, guys. So, your next steps. You don't need more information. You need a decision. Invest in yourself. Get a coach. Protect your health. Build community first. Start small. A house hack with 10K down can become $100,000. The first deal is the hardest. Get creative. Seller credits, carrybacks, rent to own. You don't need perfect credit or big cash. And then build your network. Show up to meetups. Reach out. The deal flow follows the relationships. That's all I got.
Thanks, Darin. Any
Yeah.
last questions for Darin?
Yeah.
Just, is
Yeah.
a rent-to-own the same thing as a lease option?
So yes, but our model, I just say rent to own because that's what people understand. If I say,
Marketing.
yeah, and if I say owner finance, people it just goes.
Got it.
Because you're kind of renting and you're kind of owning at the same time. In this scenario.
Is it the same thing as a lease option? If you're leasing it to them?
Oh, because technically they are renting from the trust, right?
Yeah. There's a lease.
Well, I
For
would
the
say
trust,
no.
but-
I mean, so no, because like typically a lease option doesn't have like an amortization schedule. It is a lease agreement
Yep,
with an
right.
option to purchase.
Yes, right.
Where this has an amortization schedule. It's like technically they're different.
Right.
I think vernacular is interchangeable when you're talking to like a consumer.
Right.
But in your contract, that would be a separate.
Yep.
Because the lease option is kind of like a balloon, because you're giving them like 2 years to go get financing or 3 years. To go
Right.
get financing.
Yeah. Good question. So yeah, I think we're all used to the lease and the option, or lease option route. Where this I would say going the trust route. Again, Tucker's been doing it for 4 years, so I don't think it's like as common. But even like the deal that we just did here in Omaha, we put it in the trust versus doing a traditional SubTo, because that offers protections for the seller. Well, what if we stop making payments? And again, I don't want to like confuse people. Like we took over their mortgage. So if you do the traditional SubTo, what if I just stop making payments? So where like going the trust route and working with a trustee, there's a third party servicer that they get notified if I stop making payments, and then the original sellers get notified. And so I just like that there's more protections there. Yep.
How long are you going to keep them on the loan?
I don't know. It'll be interesting. I mean,
Good interest rates,
yeah,
3.2%.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there's really no reason to,
yeah,
unless it appraises for like a ton
yeah,
more.
right, yeah, yeah. So
You're not freaking out because you don't have a timeline for them to get off? and
Yeah,
have
there's
it
no
in your-
balloon on it. So they can.
You don't want them all.
No, you don't, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking them.
Well, they have
Say
sucky
credit,
credit, so
right?
now they're building the credit back up because they ultimately wanted to buy another house. Three parties involved all wanted to buy new houses in the future. So this is building their credit so that they can buy a house again some point, but it'll be years until they can. But this will help faster, and then they don't have an auction on their record too. So
Grant, you had a question?
So when you open a
Yeah.
new trust with
Yeah.
each one of these clients,
Yeah.
is it a one-time fee for opening a trust, similar to an LLC, or do you have to have like a fiduciary, for example, that manages the trust account, and then you're basically opening like a contract with the fiduciary, and you have service payments to them?
Yep. So yeah, there's the one-time fee to set up the trust, and it's I believe it's $2,500. And I'm looking at Josh because we walked hand in hand on this deal. So
yeah, and it depends on the deal.
Yeah.
What is happening and stuff. I think some are slightly different and everything.
yeah, and then
There's a recurring
yeah,
fee for
yeah,
servicing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then there's also
$60 a month.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just like if you have like a registered agent for your LLC, you're paying like $10 a month or whatever for the registered agent. Similar to that. And then there's also servicing fee because there is a loan servicer that's actually like pulling the payments and distributing the payments to wherever they need to go.
Are they also sending out the tax forms at
Um,
the end of the year?
I don't think so, right?
Yeah.
Right, Tucker?
My servicer
Oh.
sends out the tax forms.
Yeah.
too.
Well, do they do any like tax forms or?
like a 10, what is it, a
10
form
Well, because
1098
you've
or
got
something?
Yeah.
the original person who they're showing that they're paying interest.
Oh.
Well, but technically they can't write it off because you're writing it off.
Well, yeah,
Ah.
I think that's in there that the
So they basically send the paperwork so that everybody is like, okay, this is all I get to write off, Phil, and this is what I get to write off.
Yeah, good point.
well, and they're typically a residential owner, typically.
You're just gonna write off your interest.
So you can't. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Just put in there that they can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your contract.
Yeah.